Bill Taylor along with Andrew Wilson on our Good Friday, and a happy Good Friday to you and yours. Andrew, how things going for you today?
It's going good, just trying to keep track of what's going on with the weather and keep up with everything here at home. It's a nice morning. I'm glad that we have some drier conditions compared to what we had yesterday.
Felt so good with the dew points low this morning. I was outside early with the dogs and it was so refreshing. I mean, it wasn't in the 50s or anything like that, but the dew points were so much lower. I mean, a good 10 to 15 degree drop in dew point makes all the difference in the world out there.
Oh yeah, and the cloud cover. Even though I'd like to see a little bit more sunshine, at least the cloud cover is keeping us cooler too.
Well, I hope we can keep it in a sense of, decreasing the risk of severe weather tomorrow, because we have not changed weather patterns. We're still locked in an unstable environment that's conducive for more thunderstorms, not only tonight, but again tomorrow.
That's right.
Tonight's
Yeah,
going to
we could
be
see some.
probably out west.
Yeah, and you've actually got a little bit of a timeline there and an update on that, I guess. Do you want to talk about that now or before we go into our Fun Time Friday photos? We've got a ton of them, by the way, today.
Yeah, we
So
got some great photos coming your way. I was just kind of logging in here. Facebook is going real slow on our side over here, so I can see who's with us and get some questions and
I can
comments
see
in.
we have Ned from Terrell Hills saying hello. Hello to you, Ned.
Hey, Ned. I'm looking at radar. A few showers are showing up already north of Del Rio. So now this is just some light rain. Notice that it's stretching east near Rock Springs. Also some showers up around Sonora. But we haven't seen any thunderstorms, and we're not expecting thunderstorms today. But I will say that this is a good little foreshadowing as far as where we're expecting any weather this evening and later tonight. It should be the Hill Country or the Rio Grande. It looks as though everything stays to our west for Friday and Friday night. But come tomorrow, it looks like we're going to see things shift eastward as early as Saturday morning, maybe even before sunrise.
Yeah. It could be a really stormy one too, because it's another enhanced risk for severe weather that we're expecting for our Saturday.
So this is a great tool in meteorology, this water vapor imagery showing the mid-levels, showing water as a gas and just how much moisture we have available. But it also shows us kind of an x-ray of the atmosphere where, and you see that one little disruption on the satellite feed, a couple of images that are bad, but you can see the swirling low right over Los Angeles. That's the low that's going to really enhance our rain chances tomorrow and thunderstorm chances as well, because that swings in from the east. And let me show you on our upper level chart what that looks like. So this is tonight at 10 p.m. and you see it dropping near Mexico, and then it kind of opens up south of the Four Corners. Notice how we lose that circle and we have more of what's called a trough. Now, usually a trough is an elongated area of low pressure. Instead of that tight counterclockwise cyclonic feature, you see that huge dip instead. And there's typically fronts associated with this. But look at the upper level energy when you look at the isobars stacked up right across South Texas. So that means a tremendous amount of instability, high wind speeds aloft, and it's going to be right on top of us. And if you look at the clock, 8 a.m. Sunday. So that's Easter Sunday. And when I saw this, Andrew, again, this is timing that, each computer model is going to be a little different. When I saw this, I thought, we might have to extend rain chances if this is going to be slowing down, because, like I said, that low is right now over Southern California. So we could still have a
Yeah,
decent
and
chance of rain Sunday morning.
yeah, and remember, kids, remember what low pressure means. It means we have rising air, and that could mean that we have more shower and thunderstorm activity. That's why we keep talking about this low. This is an upper level low. So we can have low pressure in different parts of the atmosphere.
Exactly. So, and these upper level lows, when we say upper level support, you hear us use that term a lot, that means that the winds are matching up with, say, a cold front at the surface. So you stack up, from surface through the upper levels, a great deal of instability, and that's when that upper level support typically leads to some ugly weather. So notice that it does sweep out.
Yeah.
So that's the good news, is that this is not a cutoff low. It's not going to, you know, linger. Cutoff lows are ones that just kind of sit by themselves and can spin for a couple of days. But this one kicks out, and we're hoping we see some good clearing skies by midday Sunday. And look at that.
And it would
Gets
be
real
great
quiet.
because I know a lot of people, you know, we can't really all get together like we usually do on Easter, but at least you may be able to head out to the backyard and relax a little bit for Easter Sunday.
Exactly. I mean, I think by the afternoon we're clearing out. It just doesn't appear. There we go. I finally got my Facebook loaded up over here. But it does appear that Saturday night, but even Saturday morning, we could have a good disturbance move in. Let me show you what the Severe Prediction Center says now for Saturday. Just like yesterday, a 3 out of 5 risk of severe thunderstorms. These would be hail and damaging wind producing storms. We're still not in an environment highly conducive to tornadoes, so that's really good news, but we are in an environment conducive to hail and damaging winds. Now the difference this go around is that it's more focused on the hill country and into San Antonio rather than from San Antonio south and east like we had last night. And last night, as you know, Andrew, we got every bit of that 3 out of 5. I mean, we had a lot of strong thunderstorms. Nothing in the city got severe, but we had some good heavy rain.
Yeah, we may have even had up to grapefruit-sized hail at one point. So, I mean, that's some really big hail. Again, not in the city, not even in Bexar County, but that's some really big hail.
Absolutely, yeah, no, some big thunderstorms. There's Lindsay, my sister's on. Ellie and Reagan are coming up in just a minute from Lidditz, Pennsylvania. Say that with me, Lidditz. Eastern Pennsylvania, not far from Philadelphia. It's a beautiful little town. It's one of my favorite places in the country.
Not far from where I was born.
Oh, that's right, Mr.
York,
Delaware. Now, you know, Delaware, our smallest state in the Union.
Mississippi, but I was born in Delaware.
That's incredible. Now, Delaware is about the size of Bexar County, right? Or even smaller?
Yeah, it has 3 counties and 2 at high tide.
Wait, 3 counties and 2 what?
2 at high tide.
2 at high tide.
That's a joke.
That's really good. I like that. That's
joke.
really good. It's only got 3 counties. Isn't that incredible? So anybody know? I'm asking a trivia question. How many counties in the great state of Texas? Who knows how many counties in our state of Texas? 3 in Delaware. That's incredible. And where I was born in New Jersey, it's about a dozen, I believe. I don't think it's many more than that, if it is. But I want to say 12. Alicia's got a question. We're ready, Alicia. Let me know. We do want to cover, like I said, what's going on in the weather, because this is very important. The most important thing we do is teaching you what's heading our way, preparing you for severe weather.
Yeah, and kids, remember, it's always important to have a severe weather action plan. Ask your parents, maybe at the end of the day, whenever things are quieter for them, what would be the severe weather action plan?
Susan, oh, Matthew 37. Yes, today's Good Friday. That's the chapter. Now, Lindsay says 254. That's correct. My sister got it. 254 counties in the great state of Texas. Delaware's got 3.
Yep.
They've got what we call county envy. Psychologists will call it county envy. Capital of Delaware?
Yeah. Dover.
Dover, Delaware. You know what's neat is that McNeese State, where I graduated, our big arch rival in 1AA playoffs every year would be those mighty Blue Hens of Delaware.
Oh, man. All right, so what's the most famous Blue Hen to ever play for the Fighting Blue Hens?
Ooh, good one. Joe Namath.
Joe
No,
Flacco.
he's from Alabama. Who?
Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco. Yes. Another great quarterback. Wow. Not as great as Joe Namath, but Joe Flacco, I think, won a Super Bowl, didn't he?
He did, with the Ravens.
With the Ravens. Was that the year they beat my New York Giants? The Ray Lewis
I can't remember who they were.
defense. They were a great team. All right, so tomorrow's setup, once again, is the risk of severe weather because of that upper level feature coming in. So let me show you the timing on what we expect. Now, this current picture doesn't really tell the great story, but it was one of the better ones. A lot of models are struggling with this setup. And so this model, and this is the NAM, the North American model, but it's at a 3-kilometer resolution, which again, that explains the grid in which it's forecasting. So look at the storm starting up for those of you in Del Rio by tonight. This is 10 p.m., so we're going to be tracking some weather. As I mentioned, it should stay west for San Antonio tonight, but then look what happens. Storms start moving in our direction down Highway 90, 3:30 in the morning, and these could be some rough storms right here that move into the city before the sun is up tomorrow morning. So right at about 5 a.m., we see from Kerrville stretching into San Antonio, south through Hondo, some strong cells that could be right on top of us, and these are the ones that could produce hail and damaging winds. It looks like those move into our eastern neighborhoods at 6:30, 7 a.m., 7:30. You're going through Seguin, Gonzales. You can even see a couple of flare-ups in San Antonio as well before we kind of level things off just a bit. And then it's just light to moderate rain through the afternoon, and it looks as though that impulse is gone, and we're seeing scattered showers, but nothing severe until Sunday morning. Now here's Easter Sunday, 2 a.m., and notice this line gets real active at 3 in the morning from Fredericksburg through Kerrville, Hondo to Uvalde, and then right on top of the city. Looks like it refires almost, and that's going to be 4 a.m., and that should be the last of it, with some of the rain lingering at Seguin, 7 in the morning, so sunrise services could get a little wet east, but in San Antonio, we should be clear by sunrise on Easter Sunday. And then look at that. The clouds go, and we're mostly sunny with that system sweeping out. There might be some lingering clouds, but looks like a mostly sunny afternoon for sure. I'm just hoping we can get it out by, say, 8 or 9 a.m. at the latest.
Yeah, and you know, those storms on Saturday and Sunday morning, we could be talking about large hail in some of those. So it'll be important that everyone wants to get up early to check on those storms and keep an eye on them in case you have to move your car under cover. Or if you could just move your car under cover before you even go to bed, that'd be best.
So what does it mean, a European model? Belia, we've got, we call them operational models. So it's just the origin of where they're coming from. So I don't know where in Europe, but that's a European Weather Service operational model. Then we have several that we look at from the United States, the RPM, the NAM, the GFS. There's global models, and then there's higher resolution local models, if you will, that get into the 4-kilometer resolution, kind of that grid, where again your accuracy rate is going to go down a little bit because you're fine-tuning things, and so you're really trying to get as precise as you can into a smaller grid. And what these models do is they plug in current data and then they rerun. Okay, so that's why we look at them all day long, and as you get closer, obviously, to the day of the event that you're expecting, the accuracy is going up because you're plugging in real-time data all along that way. And you know, as we were looking early in the week, we were thinking Saturday, but and clearing out for a beautiful Sunday. But as we get closer, it looks as though it's slowing down a little bit more, so that there could be some rain Sunday morning now.
Yeah, and all these models that we're talking about, they're different weather models. They're taking into account all these different things, and it's basically a bunch of math and computer software that's all kind of coming together, and it says, well, we think that this is going to happen here. And then another model will disagree, and it'll say, well, I think this is going to happen here. And then all the models may disagree, and sometimes they all disagree with each other, and sometimes they're all wrong. Yeah. We as meteorologists, our job is to decide which model is right. And sometimes they agree, and it makes our job easier, but sometimes they agree and they're all wrong, and we have to say, hold up, no, these are all wrong. And we have to do that a lot, especially with hurricane forecasts.
Yeah, tropical models can be very you know, unreliable, reliable. I mean, every single system the models will struggle with, and so it's or some do, you know, perform better. We do know that some models are cooler than others. Some models do a better job with precipitation. Some do a better job with temperature. But each and every scenario, that's why, you know, we're able to, it's really nice that we can look at all the different opinions, you know. And remember, when we use the word model, we're talking about a model of the atmosphere. Just like you used to build those model airplanes, it's not a real airplane, it's a model of a real airplane. Well, the computer is modeling the atmosphere. It's like putting the atmosphere in the computer and saying, what's going to happen tomorrow? What should the radar look like? And we try to find the models that are doing the best job with the current situation. Like if it's raining in San Antonio, let's find the one that shows rain over San Antonio at this hour. And that means that it's probably performing better than the others. And if, like you said, like Andrew said, when we see all the models agreeing with something, we definitely have a good, you know, better idea of what's going to happen. You mentioned tropical, the spaghetti model forecast, and that's when we look at all the models at once, and it just looks like a big bowl of spaghetti with all the lines showing the track of a hurricane. And when you see them all, that's how they come up with the cone of probability of where that landfall is going to occur. We got a couple of, would it be Delawareans? Delawareites?
Delawareans, I guess, yeah.
But Belia, thank you for your service. Air Force, Dover Air Force Base, where her sons were born. Matthew says his dad was born in Delaware. That's awesome. Oh, so that wasn't scripture. Matthew 37, was that just going that you're 37 years old? Or? But I want to say, in the book of Matthew, I believe it's around the 37 sounds familiar to where the Good Friday messages. All right, let's get into it. So, we kind of, one more thing before we go. The most important part of our forecast, the 7-day outlook. Let's take a look at what we're expecting. Speaking of Good Friday, beautiful San Fernando Cathedral in San Antonio. So 50-50 on coverage overnight tonight. Like we said, before sunrise, we've got a 50% chance that thunderstorms develop. And then during the day and into tomorrow night, an 80% probability in coverage, high of about 80. And like I said, please be weather aware on Saturday. Have your KENS 5 app, have your phones charged. We're definitely going to have a good risk of severe thunderstorms, and we're going to be tracking those for you. Easter Sunday, morning rain likely, and that's where that 60% chance lives. And then as we get into mid-morning, it's a 20% chance of lingering, but then by the afternoon, we should have sunshine, okay? 84, but then there's a cold front coming in Sunday night, Monday, and look at those lows Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, even Thursday. Mid-40s, 52 on Thursday, that's still chilly. That's going to put the hill country, Andrew, in the 30s.
Yeah, it's going to be a cold mid-April.
Right? Tax day, of course, is not next Wednesday. Always April 15th. Every time I see that, I think taxes, but not this year. I think everything's been extended.
Yeah.
So we will get through this by Sunday morning, and then it looks like we settle down for several days, and we can look for a chance of rain to next arrive Thursday, so it'll be a while. I said 37 as a guess for how many counties in Texas. Gotcha, Matthew. Okay. I'm all thinking Matthew, chapter 37. Okay. All right, we are sharing artwork. We're ready to show some wonderful pictures on a Friday. We're going to begin in Lidditz, Pennsylvania with my niece Reagan. There she is. Reagan is 4 years old, and you can see she wrote out Lidditz right there on the lower right-hand corner. And what a beautiful picture, Reagan. I love this with the little bow on top. And I get, is that you sticking your little tongue out? Is that a funny picture? And you can see some rain in the upper right-hand corner. My little niece Reagan joining us on Cloudy with a Chance of Learning from Pennsylvania. So they get snow every year up there, man. They get a lot of snow in eastern Pennsylvania. A lot of snow shoveling.
Oh, yeah, especially you get a good nor'easter in, and you're going to see a good amount.
Yeah, so that's a great term, nor'easter. It's called, it has nothing to do with Easter weekend. Instead, it has to do with the winds around an area of low pressure. So the nor'easter is because when those lows get off the coast, like let's just pretend it'll be the opposite here. So if this is, okay, so this is the east coast, and here's the low over the Atlantic. And the winds, remember, are counterclockwise around a low. And so the winds are coming in from the northeast and bringing in those big squall lines of snow and cold wind and humidity, of course, because it's a wet, humid cold up there in the northeast. Those can get bitter. And that's a nor'easter. That's how it gets that name, is when that low is off the coast and just dumping all that snow on them.
Oh, yeah.
The Omega block, yes, it's definitely gone. Rock talking Omega block right now. That's used to influence our weather. We talk about those upper level highs. So, not to be outdone, but Reagan's older sister, my niece Ellie, is 7. And look at this, we're going back to the layers of the atmosphere. I love this, Ellie, doing a great job of showing us the layers like a piece of cake. And you notice that it starts with the troposphere, and that's where we forecast the weather. All of our weather occurs in the troposphere. From the surface, about 30 miles up, is the troposphere, the lowest layer. And then just like that piece of cake, and I love the colors. Well done, Ellie. You see the stratosphere, that's where the ozone layer is. Then you go to the mesosphere, the thermosphere, which is where the International Space Station and many of our satellites are living. And then the exosphere, the farthest reaching layer of the atmosphere, and that is thousands of miles thick. It is mind-blowing how thick the exosphere is. In fact, the thickness is relative to the thickness of the planet Earth itself. Okay? It is just mind-blowing how many layers and just how thick that goes. And each of them increases in depth and thickness. And that cake looks really good. I'm going to be honest with you, Ellie. Now I want a piece of cake. All right. Love it. Lidditz, Pennsylvania.
Next, we've got Addison.
Addison. And Addison was paying great attention yesterday to our cold front lesson. So we talked about the cold front, the warm front, the stationary front, and the occluded front. And she's got all of those on there. Addison's 6 years old, right here in San Antonio. That's a great picture, Addison. And I love when you guys include yourselves too, so don't forget, every Friday we're going to be celebrating all of our Cloudy with a Chance of Learning students and making sure we get some great pictures in, so keep them coming. We can get them to btaylor@kens5.com. Now we've got some moon phases. Tell us about those, Andrew.
Yeah, Addison, we had Moon Monday. Meteorologist Megan Matthew was on talking about that and talking about all the different moon phases from a new moon to first quarter to a full moon and then to third quarter. And just talking about how the sun, the light from the sun is what lights up the moon. How whenever the Earth is going around the sun and then the moon's going around the Earth, that light reflects off of the moon. And it's what we're seeing here from the surface, and how we have different stages because that moon always going around, just like we're always going around the sun. Great pictures there, Addison. Thank you so much.
I love this, and it reminds me that my oldest daughter works at Dawson Elementary School in Austin, right? And so she has a small class with her extended care group, and they learned moon phases a few weeks ago, back when things were normal. It was probably it wasn't even a few weeks, it was probably a couple months now, right? And they used Oreo cookies, Andrew. And that's what Addison's pictures reminded me of, that lesson. You can do, learn the different moon phases using Oreo cookies, right? You can do
Nice.
that new moon, the half moon, and just do the icing at different levels. Of course, that lesson would go really well because then you can eat all of the cookies.
I think I remember doing that when I was in school too. I think I remember us eating Oreo cookies whenever we were all learning about the moon.
Oh, Susan wants to know if we're going to show the story about Hurricane Harvey. I didn't see it, Susan. Matthew's story about Hurricane Harvey. Can you resend that to me? And that's btaylor@kens5.com. It could have gone into our junk email if the system didn't recognize your email. But yeah, and send it to Andrew as well, so make sure we get 2 eyes on it. And his email is awilson@kens5.com, and mine is btaylor@kens5.com. So please make sure to resend. I'm so sorry we missed that, but we'll definitely share it.
Yeah, we'll make sure we can add it in for next week. Again, we are going to be doing this again next week, and we're excited to continue these lessons. And, we also got Ned and Lillian moving on in the timeline. That could be that supermoon that we had this past week.
Absolutely. Ned and Lillian were out there for the supermoon on, what was it, Tuesday night? Was the full moon?
I believe it was Tuesday night.
So the moon, in its orbit, there are 2 points in that orbit every year, the perigee and the apogee. The perigee is the one, as it's a term that means the moon is closest to the Earth in its orbit, because it's not a perfect circle in that orbit. Instead, there's a little move in, a little move out. It's not the perfect circle. So that little move in sometimes happens the same time as a full moon. Not always. It always, has its closest point. But when that closest point matches with the full moon, you have this spectacular super full moon that's about 15%, I think the number is, larger in the night sky than on a normal full moon. Now, we were talking about you get 1 full moon per month, but there are some months that you have 2 full moons in 1 month, and those are called blue moons. And that's why you'll always hear once in a blue moon is the old phrase, because it just doesn't happen too often.
Oh, my dog spooked me. He's all super excited. He came running up the steps and decided to plop down right under the table.
All he wants is 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah, he does.
That's hilarious, man. Just scared Dad. Yeah, so Matthew, thank you for being forgiving. Look at that. Make sure, please, to include that email to us about Hurricane Harvey. I'd love to hear that story, because that was an incredible storm. We learned a lot about hurricanes when Hurricane Harvey hit the coast of Texas. Yeah.
And we're going to continue next week. We don't have the latest schedule to show you today on our Weather Minds classroom, but we are going to be doing more Tropical Tuesday this next week. I've got more on tropical systems and impacts.
So 2 days that we know for sure is definitely going to be Tuesday's Tropical Tuesday. That's what we're going to really assign Tuesday to now that we're getting closer to hurricane season, and we're expecting an active one. But then Wednesday, Stacia Wilson approached me yesterday and said, I'd love to do one about mosquitoes and insects and what we're expecting because of a mild winter and because of the abundance of rain so far this April. I think those are going to be 2 key factors for what we experience with spring and summer insects. And that can be a big deal here, especially with mosquitoes. Now, a lot of folks have been asking, and we covered it yesterday with a great story from Matt Gaskins, one of our photojournalists here at KENS 5, about whether or not mosquitoes could carry the coronavirus. And there's great news. They cannot, and they do not. Now, that doesn't mean to let your guard down, because the mosquitoes do carry the West Nile virus, and that is also a very, very scary virus. So that's good news, bad news of it. We're expecting a robust mosquito season, unfortunately, but the good news is they do not carry the coronavirus. They can't.
Yeah, you still won't find me sticking my arm outside trying to get bit up by the mosquitoes myself. So.
Right?
I'll be using my phone.
And did you ever hear the theory that there's certain blood types they like better than others? Like, some people don't put anything on and they're fine. I'm like, I got to go deep woods off and everything, man, because I will get chewed up. They love me.
Same.
You too?
Yeah, they get me real bad.
Well, Mississippi, and I was in Louisiana for 6-7 years, and I visit there a lot because my stepdad and my brother, they all live there. It gets so bad there. And I remember a couple of times even playing golf, and you'd stand over the ball before you're going to get, to hit the ball, and you'd get bit like 3 times while you're just standing still like that, and it was brutal.
Oh yeah.
Matthew wants to know, what is the West Nile virus? So the origin, I would imagine, is the name, but where it came from. But it's a similar virus. I don't believe it's a respiratory like the coronavirus is. I'm not sure what it attacks, but it is a bad virus and can be deadly. It's another, just like the flu is deadly, obviously coronavirus is too. West Nile can be as well. And the mosquitoes do carry that. So it's just always important to make sure you have off with DEET. That's the active ingredient that's important. And you're spraying yourself before you're spending any time outside.
Yeah, and it's mainly at nighttime whenever you need to be more careful, Matthew, because that's when the mosquitoes like to come out. They don't like all the heat during the day and the sunshine. Typically, they'll get down low into the grass, and wherever there's thicker grass, wherever there's more moisture, that's where mosquitoes like to hang out during the day. But at night, they'll come out in larger numbers and could really impact you.
Absolutely.
Or if you're in the rough, though, were you trying to golf on the rough? Is that why you were trying to? Were you always getting eaten up?
Wow, that's calling me out. Yeah, because there's not as many mosquitoes in the fairway. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
That's a pretty good call. Oh, Avon too, the fragrance body spray. Yes, Paul, a great tip. That does work. I definitely have living proof of that. That Avon fragrance body spray, whatever's in it, it also, what do you call it? It's a deterrent, right? A mosquito repellent. All right, well, that's going to wrap up our Fun Friday. This was fantastic, guys.
And guys, we'd love to show even more photos, so please send them to us at btaylor@kens5.com or send them to me at awilson@kens5.com. It's a lot of fun because we can't wait to show them on air. We love getting all these photos in and sharing them and sharing what you've been drawing throughout these classroom talks, and we're really enjoying it. We'd love to show y'all stuff off.
Absolutely. It's really been a great time with this, that we're able to do it through the distance learning part of all this, and we can cover, of course, the current situation with risk of severe storms tomorrow, but then also show these pictures and then get some great lessons in. And if there are some prior lessons you're interested in, the atmosphere, Moon Monday, go to the YouTube channel. That's probably the best place, because here on the Facebook feed, you're going to have, to really try to find them under videos. And there's so many videos on the KENS 5 Facebook. So it's better if you go to the KENS 5 YouTube, and you'll probably see, because they're all going to be there each and every week. But that wraps it up. And we will, by this afternoon and over the weekend, we'll put out the new schedule for next week's lineup. But like I said, I know for Tuesday and Wednesday, and Friday for that matter, because Friday's kind of, free-form Friday, we're locked in with Tropical Tuesday, Insects and Mosquitoes on Wednesday, and then Fun Time Friday next week. All right, so that wraps it up. Andrew Wilson, thanks for joining us. Again, be on the alert for some storms tomorrow morning and again tomorrow night. Okay, during the day, Saturday showers, but it looks like early morning and late night are going to be when we have to keep a very close eye on the weather situation. We'll see you this afternoon on First at 4. And again, take care, everybody. God bless you on this Good Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. We love you. Take care.